Hello everyone, welcome back to Pominors. If you are new around here, please smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. Make sure you give it a share. We're absolutely smashing them out on the socials, so I can't thank you enough. You guys and girls are absolutely legends. And today what we're doing, if you are returning Pominors, you'll be familiar with the VFL wraps. So good day to you. You can go a step further. Link is in the description. Become a member of the channel. Please do. It really does help the channel out. It helps us do all this wonderful content. We sponsor a few people, Shangor and Domaku, who we will be talking about today. And it's the VFL wraps. So 75-56 to the Blues. Got the job done. Back on the winners' podium. And it was a really good game, this. It was the highlight for Friday for me. I really enjoyed the Friday night footy here. It was a seesaw affair. At the first, it looked like the Footscray dogs were going to get the game done, and they really did come out the blocks hard. But the Carlton VFL side, they readjusted. They really stuck to the winter cold game plan. Bit wet, bit dewy there at Icon, and just got the ball moving forward. And in the end, it was quite comfortable. And I think the scoreboard flattered Footscray in the end. There were some really good performances, particularly from the AFL lads and the VFL lads as well. And in the end, they really did dominate on the whole and looked a really solid outfit. So let's go into individual performances and see what we found out about it. So we start off then with the legend that is Paddy Dow, probably the most talked about player in the VFL really for us. And let's see how the former top 5 pick did in the end. 29 touches for him, 15 kicks, 14 handballs, which is where you expect to see Dow, particularly with the midfield and the on-ball contingent that we're seeing in the AFL. 3 marks, 5 tackles, 8 clearances, 6 inside 50s, 1 rebound. Just the behind for his endeavours. There was patches of this game that I really enjoyed. And what I tried to do is think that if he comes into the side, it's for a straight swap for Cherry, right? Now, one thing that Cherry does is he's really he's the gooey goodness that holds that midfield together. And you really saw it this week against Richmond of why we miss Cherry. He really is that conduit, that metronome almost of that on-ball contingent, particularly around stoppages. Him and Hewitt are genuinely the primary ball users in that situation. And you see Cherry likes to ping the ball around and get us going. Now, my issue with Dow, and I really love Dow, so just remember, every time I talk about Dow, I'm thinking of a father. I'm trying to think of how to make him better. I find in the next passage of play when he gets the ball, it's just not impactful enough. Like, them clearances were all well and good, but 90% of them went just straight into the opposition. It was just like kicks to nothing over the shoulder. It wasn't them articulate kicks that I'm looking for. And when you look at what Vossi does, he's looking for them handball chains and he's trying to keep possession in the clearance. And that's what Carlton have been really dominant. The fact that they averaged 10 points plus from centre clearances alone, which is #1 in the AFL. There's a reason, because they hold on to the possession. So it's a real direct form of centre clearance, where Dow's strengths are really running away from the clearance, and then you're not really getting that in the AFL. And you didn't really see that in the VFL either this week. What you really saw was clearing for territory, which would have been grouse against Richmond. But the unfortunate thing for Dow is I just think his game model and his style would require way too much change in the way that Voss has. And it has been successful. Do you know what I mean? When you've got 9 wins at this stage of the season, what you're doing there is fine. And people are saying that the centre clearance work at Carlton is on the boil, but you've got to remember they've played it twice in the wet. You've got to remember, and it baffles me, these boys didn't know how to play in the wet or the dry 9 months ago. So to archetype your change and really change it for the sake of weather, which you probably won't see, is a big risk. So it would require a lot of change. He's done his... Would I be worried if he came in? Not at all. Not at all. But my issue is here, I don't see how he fits. And I think the only way you could change it is you'd have to look at someone that is getting the touches there, and that is Matt Kennedy. That is the role that probably he's fighting for. Would you go with Kennedy? Them 5 tackles versus 0 last week? Maybe, because really what Kennedy does is he stays in tight, acts as a blocker, creates space, or goes himself and offloads it in a very aggressive manner, and that is why Kennedy's been good. I don't think you can change it. And for me, I think the impact per disposal is a big thing. That looks a really good stat sheet, but I really implore you to go back and watch it again because you'll see what I'm on about. And that's me being kind there. I do think he's just got to work it, particularly around stoppages. That's where you don't see it. There was some nice moments in the fourth in link-up play, but what we're looking for from Dow is what he does in the stoppages and the clearance, because that is what the AFL is priding itself on at the moment. And for me, I just don't. I think the other guys, Voss keeps saying it, are ahead of him. I can see why, and I think if they are going to replace Cherry, they're going to replace it in a rotation from out wide. Next up, Jesse Matlob, and this is a guy that really has probably got green dollar signs in his eyes. In the terms of that, you'd say Durden, the last couple of weeks, he hasn't really provided that half forward, that pocket that Vossi's been talking about so much. The 5 touches, the 3 kicks, 2 handballs, 1 mark, 3 tackles, 1 clearance, good round stoppages, inside 50s 1, and nothing on the score sheet. It was an okay game. It was way below what I think, but what he should be doing. But it was just meh, really. And when I say okay, I mean meh. He didn't really get himself involved, and he really went anonymous. And this is the problem when you've got a pocket half forward. There was a lot of Jack Martin about this game in the terms of what if he got some touches early. And at times it felt like he just was missing the play. He wasn't reading it particularly well. He's a young player. He's got exceptional talent. And he's got talent, for me, that would have him higher than how Martin's rated when he came to us. Phenomenal player. Does need to grind a little bit. I do think he tries to do a bit too much, particularly with his running pattern. Sometimes just keep it simple. There's a lot there, though. There's a lot there to work with. And once it comes together, this guy's good. So, like I say, probably a D, E game, this one for him. Definitely something there, though. He's just got to keep working at his craft, and it'll come. It'll come quicker than it will lose him, trust me. Up next, Lockie Fogg. This guy is always on the precipice, was the sub for Carlton. Came out and looked really good in this game. 31 touches, 16 kicks, 15 handballs, 7 marks, 5 tackles, 7 clearances, 1 inside 50, 2 rebound 50s. I watched this game again after doing the live watch Twitter-long, we'll call it. Really understated game, this. Really understated game. And if he's going as close to like for like as possible, probably this kid wins. And because of the AFL experience, and if he goes that option, real hungry. His intent around the stoppages was phenomenal. Really got his handball out quickly. Really little chip kicks down the side. Really understated game. If you are going to go back and rewatch this, keep an eye on Fogg versus Dow, and you'll see what I mean in the terms of that fitting into the mould and the ethos of what Vossi's built. And he was really solid. His positioning is really good. And what Cherry does really well is he always acts as a backup for his mids. And that is an understated thing, particularly when he drops out wide. And that's what you saw Fogg do quite a bit. Started the centre clearance outside of the goal square. Beelines towards the contest, which is what Cherry and Walsh do particularly well when they start in that formation. And Fogg was really good, particularly around the ball, clean hands. Really enjoyed it. And these clearances here as well were like handballs over the top of a clearance, chipping out wide to a clearance. They weren't just bombing it. They were clearances with purpose. But done is no harm. It's probably not the most exciting thing, and it's probably not what you're watching VFL and hoping Pom's going to come up with something amazing. But if he goes, if Vossi goes with safe, generic, what you know, what you see is what you get, Fogg's a shoo-in, I would say. So there it is. Very good game. And I've always said that he gives me VFL average. This was something a bit better from him. So I really enjoyed what he brought to the table. Fogg was in about everything, real hungry and really putting his hand up. Him, Setfield and Hayes, who we'll come on to, really were fighting for that position. Up next, Liam Stocker, 26 touches. A lot of them behind kick-ins, remember. 22 kicks, 4 handballs, 9 marks, 4 tackles, 2 clearances, 3 inside 50s, 6 rebound 50s. No goals, no hit-outs, obviously. Now, Stocker, for me, when he's playing his best football, he's higher up the ground. And we saw this week, really in them defensive 50, just outside 50, in the defensive half, let's say, stoppages, was really poignant, really got involved, really tackled, attacks the ball hard. For me, I don't think he's a back pocket. And what you find is, aside from taking the kick-ins and occasionally, you find that he really does oscillate really high up the ground, about almost half back, where Newman is. And if he played the Newman role, that's brilliant. I just don't think, I think he's wasted as the Jordan Boyd type. Jordan Boyd's got the game for being in the back half, because he gets real high defensive half pressure act numbers, very high tackle numbers in that area. These tackles here were outside 50 that Liam Stocker had, or just inside the stoppages. And this is, for me, something that I would be hoping in the pre-season this year, Carlton look at moving him forward into the middle. I think this is a guy that I would be modelling on Hewitt, out the back of the pack, looking to be a stopper, maybe like a Kennedy role as well. I think that's where his skill set is. But he's a real high kicking type mid as well, and he always has been at juniors. And that is something that, you know, maybe would change with positional. But I look at him and think, the only way I can play you is as Newman. And Newman's form is too good. And I think if he's at the back pocket, it's a complete waste, because he isn't going to get a lot of the ball. He isn't going to have the space, which he has a lot of time when he's a bit higher up the ground. And you see the wonderful usage, particularly around the back of stoppages, when someone spoils it. Particularly, he did a lot of work off Kemp. When he spoiled and looked to hit that pass, he's really good at that when he's got a bit of time. And that's something that I like about Stocker. And for me, that's something moving forward that we need to look at, because as a pocket, completely wasted for me in his skill set. Jackie Carroll, really enjoyed this guy's game. On the rewatch, he probably didn't stand out as much in real time, but I really did enjoy it. 26 touches, 17 kicks, 12 handballs, 8 marks, 1 tackle, 6 clearances, 2 inside 50s, 2 rebounds, no goals, no behinds. Really enjoyed it. He was about 50-50 on the ball and around. Probably 60, wait, I've got it here. 62% on the ball and the rest outside of the ground. And you really saw the skill set. Now, this really excited me, this game, because I thought that when he played the AFL, it started off well. Next 2 games kind of went downhill, and he kind of forgot about the time. You saw the confidence alleviate. Love what Carlton did. Bring him into the VFL, make him earn his stripes, make him work it out, make him take a bit of time, go back and hone your craft. For me, I'm not bringing him in this week, but what I am saying is this guy has got a couple of weeks of this, and that's how I would play Jack Carroll until he's the finished article. Give him a bit of AFL time, go back and work, because last week this wasn't as good as this week. This was a really solid week for him. Really enjoyed what he brought, intent, and he's definitely got a bit of Cherry about him. I remember when we drafted him, I said that he reminds me a bit of McRae, got outside numbers for an inside midfielder, someone that probably will be 50-50. Moving into AFL, and you saw that. Very good user of the ball, very astute, looks to keep the ball in motion, which is what Chesney does. Cherry does that a lot, moves, keeps the ball in motion. That's his gift. No static from Cherry, and Carroll was the same. Really good, found the ball, looked hungry, particularly the outlets as well. He's very good at running away from stoppages when the ball is won and making himself available, which is, again, a Cherry, understated part of Cherry's game. His high work rate. Really enjoyed Carroll's game. Long may it continue. Brodie Kemp, this is probably who you've all come to see. Really enjoyed his game. Really enjoyed it. 14 disposals, 12 kicks, 2 handballs, 4 marks, 0 tackles, 0 clearances, 0 inside 50s, 3 rebound 50s. Really, really solid. He had 15 spoils as well, which is really important to note. Very spoil first. And what I really enjoyed about Kemp's game, and no one's talked about this, I don't think, is his ability to read the play and peel off his man. And he did that quite a bit playing off Boyd. Peeled off his man and left him and took the spoil. Got the ball on the ground, gave it off. Looked for that kick, gave it off. He's very calm. He's very astute at attacking the play. Some of the kicks he made, some of the score launches, he had a couple in the 4th. Absolute peaches. For me, forget this nonsense. Oh, he's not 197. Stephen May's 193. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter how tall you are if you think the game out. And this guy thinks the game out absolutely impeccably well. Really enjoyed what he brought. He will play this week. And I've got no qualms about him coming in. It was a very solid performance for him. And well done, Mr. Kemp. You were absolutely... I enjoyed his game. I really did enjoy his game. So Sam Philp then. Really enjoyed Sam Philp's game. The 22 touches, 10 kicks, 12 handballs, 6 marks, no tackles, 2 clearances, 2 inside 50s, 3 rebound 50s. This is his role. Played a little bit on the ball, particularly around stoppages. Moved out to the wing. Occasional bit of half forward, but all around the ground. And this is his role. This is his role. He's definitely someone that I would be looking at to be the next Jack Nunes. Right? Someone that can play 30-30-30 around the ground. Good engine, good turn of pace, great point of difference. Really enjoyed Philpy's game. Is he ready to play AFL football? I don't think he is. I think there's still a little bit of that I want to see him work on. However, that being said, this was his best game for me for most of the year, because he's playing where he needs to be. And this was a guy that had outside numbers as an inside midfielder, as a junior. Very quick, very pacey. I think playing him around the ground is the one. A real nice utility mid-type player that can play across half-back, half-forward, on the wing and on the midfield. It's a real solid game. He's a real good little, hungry little guy as well. Really puts in the effort, and I really, really enjoyed everything that I saw from him. It was a real impressive game. Real good at linking up as well, and that's something that I really like about Philpy. Doesn't take the game too much on, makes himself available again. Them 6 marks again, trying to find space, which is what Jack Nunes does, particularly from the stoppages. Really enjoyed what Philpy brought. Real good, honest game from him. If he can put 2 of these together, he's going to be putting a bit of pressure on. Josh Honey, my boy, my favourite footballer, the guy that I picked from rookie obscurity. 13 disposals, 11 kicks, 2 handballs, 6 marks, 1 tackle, 1 clearance, 2 inside 50s, 4 goals, 1 behind. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. And been saying it for a long time that for me, he is going to take out Jack Martin's position. And after Jack had 2 average games, Josh Honey's put himself in the shop window. Last week was perfect game. No one talked about him. We talked about him in the VFL wrap, but it was a real good high half forwards game. Didn't get the goals, but you saw what he brought. Very good intent, got the ball inside 50, really made something happen. This game was really good. And what was interesting is when Philpy went on half forward, there was them times, like with Durden, we see with Jack Martin, where Durden runs off, gets caught deep, and Jack Martin's got to slot into the pocket, and he doesn't think about it, and he kind of holds his position, and then you've got 2 people in the same place, and no one out the back, or both of them go out the back, and no one stays in front of the ball. Josh Honey's footy IQ doesn't allow that to happen, and the goal he scored in the 4th as well was real Tuck Miller-like, and he's got real Tuck Miller vision, particularly around forward 50 stoppages, where he sits back almost at centre-half forward, beelines for the ball, running through 2 opposition players and really attacking the footy. His intent is brilliant, his IQ is exceptional, he's impetuous, and I really enjoy what I'm seeing from him. Honey needs a chance at AFL football. The last 2 weeks have been really good. If last week is what will happen when he doesn't hit the scoreboard, that is good enough to ascertain your position in the football, because read Voss's article about what he wants from half forwards. Honey is that. Very good intent, decent pressure at numbers as well. Didn't quite get the tackles, but then again, they didn't really attack his side because of the threat of turnover. Makes himself available. Really enjoyed Josh Honey's game. Welcome to Carlton Football Club next week, my friend. Domaku, my boy. Heartbreaking. He took a knock very early, went out with concussion. 3 disposals, 2 kicks, 1 handball, 1 mark, 1 tackle, 2 rebound 50s. I was actually really excited in the first 5 minutes. I thought, you know what? He's holding his own. Took some good leaps, got some good spoils, brought it to ground. It's a shame he got injured. He'll probably miss out this week as well with concussion. Unlucky from Dom, because it was threatening to be a very good game. Threatening to be a very good game until he went knocked. So can't really grade him, can't really talk much about him, but God loves you, mate. Send you my best. Hope to see you on Wednesday as well at the function. Come back soon, my friend. Will Setfield, another guy that really did perform well, really did play that Cherry role where, if you're looking at what Cherry does, he spends a lot of time on the wing. It's about 50-50. Do you know what I mean? At the moment, particularly around stoppages. He was around that stoppages, played that backstop in the stoppages. Few centre bounces. Got decent clearance when he did get involved, but really made himself available, particularly behind the ball, to try and get the play going. 35 touches, 23 kicks, 12 handballs, 7 marks, 8 tackles, 1 clearance, 7 inside 50s, 4 rebound 50s, 1 goal. Very well taken goal as well. Very smart team goal. And this was a really good game. For me, it'll be him or Fogg who take if they do make a change for Cherry, which I predict they do, because it was definitely around, particularly the way that he can come in from wide. And if you watch his roll, if that's the square and he's starting here, he peels behind the ball, which is what Vossi really likes Cherry to do. And this is what this guy did. This was his game. And it was really, really impressive. People are talking about, oh, I don't like his clearances and his chip kicks and he doesn't get the ball going forward. Nonsense. That's what Cherry does. Cherry keeps the ball moving. And this is what he did. He took the safe option, which is what you wanted. Does he deserve another shot at AFL football? I think he does. Because he's been grinding away for 4 or 5 weeks, really. Been moved around pillar to post as well as count and try and work out what they're doing with him. I like this game. So it'll be him or Fogg for me who come in. Depends what he wants to do. The attacking intent, though, probably goes to Fogg. The defensive intent, though, goes to this guy. So it'd be very interesting to see what they look at based on this game. But I really did enjoy Setter's game, I'm going to be honest. Alex Murkoff, the big beast. 6 touches, 2 kicks, 4 handballs, 1 mark, 2 tackles, 3 clearances, 1 inside 50, 1 rebound 50, 1 goal. 26 hit-outs, though. I think he's stagnated for me. And I'd love to see him get a bit more involved. I'm impressed that he's starting to get the clearances, he's starting to get his head over the ball. For me, what I want to see him do is watch what DK's added to his game, and that's peeling back behind the traffic. I'd love him to do that, because I think that's his skill set. I really do. I think when he makes himself a nuisance, and I'd love to see him body a few players a bit more. There was times that I thought the Footscray midfield found it way too easy to get past him. And I know that he's only young and he's very raw, but I want to see him get there, stand in front. It's what PeterV does really well. He stands in front and says, nah, this is my midfield, and takes one of them out. Aside from that, I think he moves around the ground okay. I think he makes himself available. I'd love to see him really try and impact, though, particularly when he is in these hot zones. When he plays forward and back, feel like he's just stood there. I want to see him impact it. It feels like he's on the precipice of a very big game, though, I have to say. But I do want to see him be a bit more active, particularly around his work around stoppage and clearance. Feel like he's just there to ruck, where the modern-day ruckman adds a layer. Whether it's a Gllenn who's adding that layer of being a user, whether it's a Grundy doing the same, or whether it's a PeterV, Bruce, who are trying to impact it, like Darcy, trying to really create space, like Nankervis did for Richmond this week. That's what I want to see him doing. Just add a bit of that. Will Hayes did his chances no harm. 29 touches, 17 kicks, 12 handballs, 8 marks, 0 tackles, 1 clearance, 4 inside 50s, 3 rebound 50s, 1 goal. For me, this guy played predominantly on the ring. It was about 20% on the ball. Most of the time around stoppages, though, really does play on that, which is very the Voss way. Voss likes to play them players, them nippier players on there. Really liked his game, and I feel like, although this doesn't set the world alight, and some people may say about the tackles, I could see him coming in, because I think there's just something about him, particularly in that final third. He's very good in that final third, which is where I think Carlton do lack. So how you fit him in, I don't know. Off the top of my head at the moment, I would take the 2 Durdens out at the moment. And obviously, you're going to come at me, but I would probably look at taking another mid out and bringing in Hayes, Setfield and Kemp. And how you do that, I don't know. But I would say that probably I would take Martin Durden and Durden out and bring these 3 in. Because I think that you could rotate this fella in particular and Honey in that forward half and really add that rotation in the midfield. Honey taking the stoppages in the forward half as well, getting him in and around. And I do like that. And I think that with Honey as well, he does rotate between that pocket, frees Hayes up, because Hayes is everywhere. Hayes, Setfield and Fogarty, they are everywhere. And they keep their width, which is really important. Setfield and Hayes keep their width, which is incredibly important. Which then, you know, we saw Cottrell when he's in that high half forward. He played that a few times where they moved Martin a bit further back. He does look real threatening. So I think that gives you options. So that's probably what I'd do. But Hayes was a real solid game. Does the simple stuff well. And that's what I really like about him. That's what I really do like about him. So that's that then. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know who stood out for you, what you enjoyed. I'll be back Wednesday with the preview. And until next time, stay safe. Pom out.